everyone, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Well, it's time to take a trip back to the past. 7 years ago. What caused Phoenix Wright's downfall? Well, we're about to see that last case of his finally. Without further ado, let's get started. 7 years ago. Here we go. Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. That was how we first met, 7 years ago. 7 years earlier, Phoenix Wright's final trial. Ooh, this is exciting. And with a nostalgic trial comes nostalgic music. Phew. Okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Got to try and relax. Good morning, Mr. Enigmar. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand. I am asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Oh, morning, Daddy. I'm so glad you came. You okay, Daddy? They're picking on you? I am fine as always. This old boy here, this old boy is here to help me after all. That's young man to you. How old was he? Oh, great. My complaint is that they never ever show the profile picture of the person you're in control of for some odd reason. They never do that. Oh well. That's young man to you. Good morning. Oh, sorry, that's Phoenix. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks. My first show's today after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? Oh, old boy. Huh? Me? Look what he started. Yeah, thanks a lot, shoddy. You just made her say it. Here. What's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's the diary. I'll give it a read later. Alright, so we get our third piece of evidence, the notebook page, along with two other pieces of evidence. But before we continue on, let's have a look at this evidence right now. Alright, first off we have the crime photo. Body found in hospital room, shot in the forehead. Okay, let's take a look at it. So yeah, this is Magnifique Grammarier. So yeah, the head magician at Tropez Grammarier. Alright, next piece. Magnifique's autopsy report. Cause of death, single shot to the head. Estimate time of death, 11 to 11:30 p.m. Let's see. Cause of death, loss of blood from bullet wound. Remarks, a malignant tumor confirmed in victim's liver. Ouch. Alright. And finally we have this notebook page. Mysterious paper received just before the trial. Let's have a read, shall we? It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remaining. To all those who have supported me in on my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell, Magnifique Grammarier. Alright. Let's go back. Alright. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? We'll get through it. Somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it is a difficult situation I put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. Ah! I see you do not understand. You see, it will be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes. Isn't that right, Trucy? Yep, you bet that, Daddy. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can, for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shadi Enigmar, known to the world as Zach Grammarier, a wildly popular magician, star of Tropez Grammarier. His mentor, Magnifique Grammarier, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead. And Zach Grammarier is the suspect. Alright. Courtroom number 7. And then I just realized that the whole lobby is completely different. So yeah, there have been changes. Sorry about that. Alright, here we go. Court is now in session for the trial of Shadi Enigmar. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? A bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some kind of new crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, John. Where are the sweaty palms, the pounding hearts? A Gavineer's concert got 10 times the thrill this gig's got. Who were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started legally, John. Gavin, defense attorney Christoph Gavins. Figures my bro more bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin, lead singer of the mega hit band the Gavineers. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True. My debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, John. Talkative, aren't you? I like your effective Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up, Attorney Wright. Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Tongue, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What was his name again? Yes. Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. And welcome back, Detective Gumshoe. We haven't seen him for the past few cases. I mean, for the past, a few episodes. And you are... Alright, let's hope I can handle this voice again. Hey, you were the one who called me up, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide a detective down at the precinct. Detective Gumshoe, long time no see. Hey, you! Huh? Me? Today, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony. Since when does he ever? Ed, a detective, this is my stage. Can the antics. Huh? All this hey-youing and such, and I could care less about your history together. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand. It happens 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol in his forehead, and BAM! Lights out. Them's the facts. For the record, no, that was no testimony, so it ain't time yet. Not so long ago, the victim, Magnifique Grammarier, was a famous man. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Save the name Magnifique to one of my generations, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Grammarier has made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifique's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A ignorant tutor or something? Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah, a malignant tumor, perhaps? In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months to live, in fact. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, Magnifique's chart. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Switch. Patient name, Magnifique Grammarier. Age 67. Male. Notes. Malignant tumor in liver has progressed to final stage with no hope of recovery. Patient has 3 months to live. Patient has chronic diabetes, requires regular insulin. Oh my goodness, that's bad. Not the news you would want to hear, that you want to hear. Anyways, the facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin when he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Alright, so we get another piece of evidence, the small syringe. I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, a detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Alright. Let's get started on our first testimony, the circumstances. Here we go. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the offended to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene. No doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Okay. What? Oh, sorry, I got a little distracted by my phone. I got a message. Sorry about that. You were saying the victim ordered his shooting? Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question. Don't worry, it'll be added to the evidence, which it just did. Alright, so let's take a look at this letter here. Switch. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of of covering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun, which you will shoot. One shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Magnifie Grammarier. So yeah, it was by orders, so it's not really a murder. Though it was basically he asked for it. So yeah, why call this a murder when that letter specifically asked him to do it? But keep in mind, a trope, so there's more than one person. I'll throw a little hint on this. One, Magnifie asked two people. The first one was none other than Zach Grammarier. The other is Valant Grammarier. So basically, Magnifie sent these letters to both of them, asking them to come basically at different times. More on that later. But anyways, let's head back. Very unusual indeed. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why did he just say 11? Excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back. Cut. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Air Attorney. I was about to say forehead. Excuse me. Well, was there some reason? As turns out, there was. Every night for a half hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnifie Grammarier, was given an IV. An IV? There it is in the picture off to the side of the bed. At 11, a doctor would come set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time I think they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption during his IV. Very well. We shall begin. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me. Alright. Here we go. Let's see now. Let's see, actually the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do a min. Nope. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. Let's see, the defendant did what was asked of him. And shot the old man in the forehead. Let's press for more info. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You failed to grasp the concept of questioning, detective. First, we got this letter. It says "shoot" in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You failed to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad. Random jump cut. Sorry about that. I was about to sneeze there. Ugh, allergies. Oh my goodness. It can really get to yeah. All right. Yeah. Where was I? I failed to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo, maybe there's something in there I can use. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigma shot something else. If you've been looking at the whole picture very clearly, sorry about that, you would have known. Look at this photo. Another possibility. Another possibility occurs to me. Yes. What does this letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. What? And you can prove that with this photo? Mm-hmm. I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he did shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? Well, clearly, if you were looking at this picture very clearly, let me point right there, and bam. The clown doll. To take a closer look, see, it's been shot in the forehead too. Ah, there's a hole in its forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Huh. And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot the doll. He shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. Because trust me, there's a lot more that hasn't been explained yet. You'll see. That hole in the clown's forehead, it definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. What? I admit, I'm impressed, but I expect nothing less. Wait a minute. I admit I'm impressed, but I expect nothing less. Did he just rhyme? Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim. Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He didn't realize just how... Oops, sorry, I have my headset. Sorry about that. Yes, because my eyes are watery because of the sneezing. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. All right, new statement. So what if he shot the clown? He shot the victim, pal. Do we have the... No, we don't. Not yet. Let's see. I guess we can pass this just a second, so let's go. Oh, sorry. There we go. I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming here. This testimony might be my only source of information. I better pay attention and read this letter carefully. Alright, let's see. Let's see. The defendant... No. Bullet was fired from the pistol at the scene of crime, no doubt. Ah, here we go. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Let's press on that. Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Vallant's a quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zack and Vallant stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot, but the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls joined the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Trope Grammarier stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. Let's go back to the first one here, where it says the bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt. You mean this pistol the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistake. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So you've verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this truly is a blast from the past. It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but it can only hold one bullet round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty, and it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point. Well made. Whoa! Not well made, not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this to evidence. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, the stage pistol. My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now now it's time to return to our testimony. Alright, so let's see, let's go to the part where it says, so what? I probably passed it. Here we go. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim. Yeah. Remember what he just said? Well, what was the description of the gun? More on that later. Okay, so let's have a read, shall we? Now, listen. Now here. Let's take a look at this statement here. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. Now, let's take a look at the stage pistol. Fires one real bullet. Rifling marks match bullet found in victim. No fingerprints found. But here, the first sentence, you see, I'll put my mouse cursor. Fires one real bullet. And he says, so what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim. And the stage pistol only fires one. Keyword here, one real bullet. Well, keyword here, one. Only one bullet. There do exist guns from the past that fires only, well, pistols, rifles, that only shoot one bullet at a time. That's it. Okay, so let's switch back and present. The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have had come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, He couldn't have shot the victim too. Yeah, the, that's not a contradiction. Not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. About that. Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know? If you claim the defendant has one ready, then prove to us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. And utterly lack of humility. And what's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, detective was just the warm-up act. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Grammer-Ye who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. Oh no, this trial ain't, this part ain't over yet. No, wait, not by a long shot. We still have one more thing. We still have another part to deal with. So, let's continue on. When you thinking about it, let's see how many minutes have passed. Only 43 minutes. 43 minutes right now have passed. Nothing more, nothing less. Alright. So we're back in the good old lobby. And let's have a good chat with Zach Grammer-Ye. Because from what Phoenix said earlier, there are things that Zach hasn't told Phoenix yet. So, let's do this. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know? I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? The way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead one, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of, I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say, for now at least. What's this for now business? I have done many things in my life. Some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone, to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident. Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into to his room that night at the appointed time and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the other one that had been used by my partner, Belant. Excuse me. Oh, for the second Belant's a quick drop thing. My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifi hearing his coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Grammarier? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks? Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks? Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? Magnifique Grammarier? The old devil, he was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Remember, Magician's Code. Zach Grammarier. He seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right. Let's get back in there. Okay. Alright. Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out of the clown's head. Well, this is news. And the rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your a decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of the Trope Gramarier's famous duo, Zack and Volant. Volant Gramarier, so we get to meet the great Magnifie's other disciple in his younger years. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Volant Gramarier, magician. You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow's student, your partner's guilt. Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. But wait, the shooting took place in the hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay. I get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks familiar. Wait, that's the same letter Zack Gramarier received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Order! 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 And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Don't worry, why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Alright, our next piece of evidence, Magnifie's second letter. Let's take a look at it. Anyways, let's have a read, see? To my beloved student Volant. To you, well, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is the time, 11:20 p.m. Just as in case, let me, right, okay, cool. Alright, just making sure. Okay, it was the same day, but, okay, so, Magnifie sends two letters to his students, requesting to come on the same day, which is the 13th. However, the difference between both of those letters is the actual time. In Zack's letter, he was requested to come at 11:05. For Volant here, he was requested to come at 11:20. So yeah. Hence, the explanation that Zack gave, that there were two pistols, not just one. However, what he explained earlier is that although both pistols are the same, the bullets are not. As he explained earlier, two different. There were two different bullets. Alright, so let's go back. This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your Trope Grammarier up to? By which you mean I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Okay. Oh boy. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramerier, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For he walks the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the two bullets found at the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes, and now it's time to get this party fired up. Alright, here we go. The night of the crime. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions, yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. The death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you were the one who reported the crime. Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramerier, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramerier, then the killer was you, Volant. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Alright, here we go. So, yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. I'm gonna need more info on that. So let's head there. Nope. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions, yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Let's press on that. There were two bullet holes at the scene. One in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zach had such the same thing. Yeah, because who Whoever did shoot the clown committed murder. I better dig around a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Villant, let me ask you something else concerning the crime scene, namely the number of pistols. Just think about it. Look at the picture. There's only one pistol. Where's the other one? Alright, the number of pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in Zack and Vallant's quick draw shoot 'em, correct? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Legitimately, I forgot all about that. I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it. Indeed I did. Alakazam. Alakazam. Alakaboo. Is the number of pistols really so important? Well, yeah, they are important. Yeah, quite important. The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? Alright, only 1 pistol... Okay, new statement. Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that night. With it, I shot the clown. Let's present that pistol. According to the defendant, Zack Grammer, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. 2? One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. He left with it in his pocket. Of course, this was what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Villant has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there. Excuse me. And shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Villant. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullets from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. Mr. Villant, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Order! 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 Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe this court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that two pistols were... these two of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved a type of gun that fired them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified the murder weapon, which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? How old was he at that time anyway? 17 years old. Oh wow. Let me see. Add another 7 years. Let's see. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He'd be 24 in present time. Okay, and Chusi was only 8, so at 7 she'd be 15. Let's see, Shoddy Enigmar 40. When he came back, he was 47. And let's see, Volant Grammarier 37. Add another 7 years, that would be, let's see, I think 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 years old. And Dick Gumshoe, I guess he probably is already retired, maybe. Let's see, 32 at 7. He'd be 39 already. So I don't think he would have retired, but why don't we ever see him again, though? I mean, like I said, he may be a bit on the slow side, but he has a good heart. As to why they didn't bring him back, maybe they promoted him to something. I don't know. I wonder why we don't ever see him again after this game. Oh well. Or maybe there were people, well, like fans that just didn't like him as a character. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, where was I? That was just this morning. I am still young, and I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Volant Grammarier? Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more decisive than decisive. You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Volant entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot, and his next testimony will prove error right. The real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. In the what now? Who shot what? In the what now? I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11 p.m., huh? And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. So he arrived at the allotted time, which was 11:20. He was clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. I'm a little confused since it's been a while. But anyways, those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi is easy to explain in this situation, Air Judge. For example, take our debut hit single 13 years hard time for love. Cue to the song, press the play button and it will play for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death, determined by the doctor, there is an incontrovertible truth. Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we hear the focus of this case was so clearly demands. Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on. Right. Alright. Excuse me 1 second. I must clean my nose. Cut. Three, two, one. Okay, I'm back. All right, here we go. So he said he was quite clear about the time of death, huh? Let's head there and press for information, shall we? All right. I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do usually only get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels in making the complex simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnifique Gramarier's schedule. Every night at 11, Magnifique took an IV drip for 30 minutes. I can see the IV bag right there, yes? Now, look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the end. From the bag to the end. The needle's been removed. Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. You could just measure the remaining IV liquid precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes before administration began. Alright, so our next piece of evidence, the IV report. And so it was when I, Belant, entered that room. Anyways, let's take a look at the IV report. IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Let's see. IV report. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. From the amount of remaining, IV stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Okay. Let's go back. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Did that seem important? Oh, duh. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the death. Behold the power of arithmetic. Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony. Sometimes the magical thing of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Let's press on that. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead, and then he left. His left arm did I spy arose, drooping and wilted. Its thorn, a discarded IV needle, knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you, if that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my my suspect self, for it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when as a second of Valant won their first magician's grand pricks, you're a grand prick. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Actually. Yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians. I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy a bust. Ah, well, what a day that was. This one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes, indeed, and that ivy too. I say I think 'twas hued especially for me, Valant. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valant sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky colored testimony? There is a contradiction. It certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. Mr. Valant, your lucky colors betrayed you. I'm afraid you've lost me. Your Honor, the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence. What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well based. Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here. Very well. Let's hear your the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valant has told us? All right, let's present the crime photo. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor. The photo of the crime scene? All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white. Clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Air Wright. Just where is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure. And I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? Well, simple. Basically, let's look at the IV drip, which is listing right here. Valant Grammarier, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes. Something wrong, with yellow, Mr. Wright? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene. What's this? Confusion, doubt. Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valant. Look at the IV bag. Well, that IV bag. What is this? What foul magic? It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. And I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Alaka, no! Order! 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 What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, our prosecutor Gavin. your witness's mistake. The greener they are, the harder they fall. I suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valant Grammarier, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. Well, this contradicts. This contradiction can mean only one thing. And to think, you almost had me. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. You had... Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, you know, just like the name of the game, well, of the first game. I'm just saying. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree. At a glance, the IV liquid does appear a sort of greenish yellow. But I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself? The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? It looks like I want to say a light blue bag. Yeah. When you mix blue and yellow, you get green. Precisely. Figured it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This incidentally is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have the ring of truth to it. As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So, let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Yeah, with the G. Order! 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 Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid. So I'm sure it means something, but what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valant Grammarier, has testified the IV liquid was yellow because he knew the IV liquid color. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before. but not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag. I suppose he would have had I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. I'm afraid I find nothing. So, what if you knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, ja? The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. You claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right? As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Let me get this straight, right. You're saying the witnesses watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. No, wait! I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essayed to perform such a task? I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. I'm afraid that there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witnesses capable of such a feat? He has a point. Amateurs. I at least would have had some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag. You don't need to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth? Volant Grammarier, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask you what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and that prop was the small syringe. The victim's syringe? It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. Mm-mm-mm. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valant Grammarier, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Alaka. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, that a time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze in an extra day out of this. If I can do a little much needed investigation work. I see there are no Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise: underestimate the young, and they'll sweep you. And they'll sweep your feet out from under you, in a way you never, ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid. But there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it? Nor was this evidence quite as decisive as I'd hope. This, I admit, after all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof, Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less. What's this? This is the victim Magnifique Grammarier's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnifique began writing his memoirs. It seems the story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciples, it seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? This does appear to have been written just before his death. The court accepts this into the evidence. Alright, so we get our last piece of evidence. Yes, like I said, I have played this before. So this is the final piece of evidence. Magnifique's diary. But before we continue on, let's have a look-see, shall we? A memoir of sorts, written in up to just before he died. So we can't open it? I guess not. I was kind of hoping to see that last page. So much for that. Alright. Read the very last part with particular care. This this journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his. He refers to our defendant, Zach Grammarier. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifique Grammarier intended to write again. That is, if Zach Grammarier didn't pull the trigger. I see. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Because Magnifique's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Grammarier. Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnifique Grammarier wrote this? There is no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnifique did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Grammarier. Well, how do you like me now, Air Wright? Gold teeth when I smile. Still too green for your tastes, hmm? He's right about the diary pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with this previous evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. If the diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. Let's show it. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink and avoid more embarrassment. Very well. Please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I just shown to the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't. And with this page is... It's time to show the notebook page. First, to take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still talking about this. And it just so happens I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Alika, I don't believe it! Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique Grammarier. That's the defense's position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, This is the other continuation of the victim's diary. Silence. Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnifi's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Grammarier left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Belant Grammarier. No! No! The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. This is, without a doubt, the genuine article. Order! 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 But wait, that's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that! Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Assessing solid evidence? Herr Judge? Yes? Prosecutor Gavin? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later. So it might as well be sooner. Then, though this is highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding, but I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather. Yes. Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name is Drew Misham. I'm a painter. A painter? Are you somehow related to this case? No. Well, not per se. I have one simple a quick question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah, I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes, you might call it one of my works. The regional prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramarier. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness, a painter to the world at large. Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney. Hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence. Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix Wright. Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client? That, I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous. Even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact with them. But there's no proof of this is a fake. It's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say without a doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright? You have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. It was careless of me. That's all I can say. Oh, old boy. Here. What's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. It was all a trap. A fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes? Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court, a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal, too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of a defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one. Your Honor, wait! I understand that presenting forged evidence in a court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible. I undertook as an individual. I am sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, John. I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself. I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright. Though I deeply regret, though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack? There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible. I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist? Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I am talking about this. Mr. Enigmar! The defendant escaped. Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all exits from the building. On the double, he must not be able to escape. That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shadi Enigmar, aka Zack Gramerier, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably vanished right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Gramerier miracle. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zack Gramerier vanished along with him for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved. However, but not until 7 years later. So there you have it. Because he presented forged evidence, what he presented evidence, the evidence that he showed turned out to be a forgery, and because of that, Phoenix, had to pay the consequences. And because of that, he was no longer in a attorney anymore. So there you have it. Tune in next time where we continue the investigation. And yeah, I know I said it was going to be in 4 parts, but it turns out it's going to be in 5 parts. Yeah, because the past trial that we just did, I shall call it the last trial of Phoenix Wright, or whatever title I can come up with. So, until then, everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.